Stacking wins, I'm never done. On the field, I'm number one. Pressure heavy, weigh a ton.
Welcome to the Man Utd stream. Hope you're doing well. Monday morning, and we've got some breaking news coming out of Man Utd. Actually, it's not breaking news for us. If you are watching this stream on a regular basis, you would have known this news some time ago. A few days ago, we brought the exclusive news that Carrick will be the next interim manager. Saturday night, in fact. Saturday night. I know there's some of you who were tuning in and you would have watched the show and you would have found out before anybody that Carrick is going to be the next interim manager. Whilst there were still lots of fans, lots of fan channels, lots of mainstream media still reporting that Solskjaer's going to get interviewed and Solskjaer's going to be the next one in charge and looks like he's the favoured one. I told you, Saturday night, you can go back, check the stream, check the thumbnail, and I said it's going to be Carrick. Carrick is the next interim manager. And my sources haven't let me down once again. Every time I think, I don't know what they're talking about. Could they be right? Could they be right? Could they be on point here about Carrick? Even I must admit, I had my doubts on Saturday night. I was a bit like, do I go with this story? Okay, I'll go with this story because that's what I'm being told. So let's put it out there. Let at least my members, my subscribers, my fan base or whatever it is, my viewers know the news so that they can decide upon themselves if they think that is the news that's going to go ahead. But look, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Carrick's got it. I did say, like Saturday night, I was kind of like looking through everything. I got a few messages saying, look, it's Carrick. They've gone with Carrick. And I was like, what? Why would they go with Carrick when everyone's pointing to Solskjaer, you know? But we all know what it's about. We know it's about a smokescreen. It doesn't matter who it is. Carrick, Solskjaer, Fletcher. It's just another smokescreen that we're going to get. Our performances are terrible. And do I feel like Carrick's the man who can change things around? Unfortunately not, guys. Unless I see something different, I don't feel like Carrick is the guy who can turn things around. We need an experienced manager to come in and take control of these players. And apparently it's the players who've actually decided. Apparently, I don't believe that for a minute, by the way. I don't believe that we've got INEOS who are controlling everything, including like how much toilet paper tissue is flipping put in the toilets, probably, right? Let's be honest. These guys are micromanaging United, but not the players, not the football, but the expenses. They're micromanaging the expenses. I bet you there's a label on each toilet at Carrington saying, do not use too much toilet tissue. Make sure you use one toilet tissue, one sheet per arse wipe. That's what I feel like these guys are like. They don't want to spend any money. So they've bought in Carrick. He's probably costing them next to nothing. You know, they've taken a week and a bit to decide. Well, just over a week, right? They've taken a week to decide who is going to be their plastic manager, who's going to be in there, who's going to do nothing. The guy, interim manager, is going to do jack shit. Let's be honest. It's going to be controlled by Wilcox and Barada. They're going to pull the strings. And we saw that scum, them two scums leaving Old Trafford after the defeat yesterday, after we got knocked out of the FA Cup, an historic defeat because what it means for United this coming season. How many games we're going to play? I think, we have to go back 100 years for the last time when we played this many games. Absolutely devastating for every fan that supports this club. Everybody who we have supporting this club are going through this shit because of the owners and because of the players. And yet they want us to kind of come out and celebrate. They want us to celebrate that they've appointed a new interim manager in Carrick. Like, come on. Like, they're both crap managers. They're both crap interim managers. For a club the size of United, you go out there and you get someone experienced. Yes, it's an interim post, but you still go and get someone good enough to manage and make sure that we compete. We might as well write off this bloody season. We might as well write off this season. That's how bad things are right now. And the only thing that could have changed it, I swear, is that if we brought in an experienced manager who could get these bloody players' heads together and smash them and say, look, get your shit together. Get your shit together. Stop feeling sorry for yourselves. Stop feeling like, oh, we've lost Ruben Amorim and that's it. Our world's ended and bullshit. If you cared so much about Ruben Amorim, you would have played better football when he was manager. You would have beat the likes of Wolves. You would have beat the likes of 10 men, Everton at home at Old Trafford. I mean, how many chances were these players given? How many chances to prove that they actually wanted Ruben Amorim at the club? But they failed. They failed him. They failed us. They failed the club. They failed everything. That's what they've done. But all roads lead back to INEOS and the Glazers because they've allowed this to happen. They've allowed these players to stay at this club without questioning their abilities, without questioning their commitment. The moment when you've got players the likes of Harry Maguire saying, look, I want to be paid my compensation and then I'll leave. Luke Shaw, who's posting out crap, when he's injured and he's like, I'm not bothered. He's not bothered about the club. You get the other likes of Garnacho whilst he's at the flipping club, whilst he's still at the club, posting shit about United, negative stuff about the club. Same thing with Rashford. Same thing with Jadon Sancho. Why didn't they flip and cut him off immediately? The club's got no standards. The club's got no self-respect anymore. We've got no self-respect as a club. Man United is a laughingstock. And it starts with the bloody players as well. The players don't give a shit. They've got no respect for the badge. They've got no respect for the fans. They don't even give a shit when they're playing at home at Old Trafford with 70,000 fans cheering them. They don't even fear that. They still come in and perform like absolute idiots, like who've never played football before. It's like they're clueless. The team doesn't gel together. They don't play good football. Let's be honest, they don't play good football. And even Fletcher, and let's give him a bit of credit, actually. Let's give Darren Fletcher a little bit of credit because he made some parting comments last night and you could see already that he's not got the job. He's not got the job. He's not going to get the interim manager job because he made parting comments only someone would make when he knows he's not going to be in the job tomorrow morning, right? And someone must have told him. Right? Okay, look, you're not gonna be the interim manager. You're not going to be managing the first team after tonight's game, because he came out and said, look, he said things what he wouldn't say if he was given the manager, which he was like, look, the players are psychologically weak. They're not a group. They're not working together. They need to actually get some more confidence. They're low in confidence. These are all the things. Who said all these things? Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim told us all these things. We can't crucify Ruben Amorim for what he said about the club and the players. Yes, he's got some things to answer for, without a doubt. I'm not, glazing over Ruben Amorim and how good he was or how bad he was. We all accept there were some negative things with Ruben Amorim. Of course there were. But if you're being objective and you're being reasonable about Ruben Amorim and what he did, you've got to also accept that he was trying to flog a dead horse in these players. They're all shit, man. They're all shit. And it's hard to say it because you don't want to say that about your own players. You don't want to say that about your own team. But how much longer can we hide the fact that these guys cannot do anything? They can't do anything at Old Trafford as well. They can't be even a shitty team. It's just unbelievable. What is going on? What is going on with United right now? And do I feel like Carrick can come in and turn things around? Unfortunately not, guys. I didn't even think Solskjaer could do it. And you could argue that Solskjaer might have brought in maybe just a little bit more, shall we say, a bounce back, just because Solskjaer's the way he is. He's like that. He's just kind of like happy chappy kind of guy, kind of comes in with a smile. Carrick is somewhat opposite. He's a lot more quiet, a lot more shy, type of manager, and that's why I don't understand how Carrick's going to come in and give them a lift. I really don't. It's going to be interesting to find out who Carrick brings in with him as his backroom staff, who's going to assist him, and that's going to be really, really interesting to find out what is going on. But yeah, Jason Wilcox is fighting a battle with Man United officials as he prefers Michael Carrick over Ole Solskjaer to become temporary manager until the end of the season. We understand that the two high-profile figures at the club believe Solskjaer would be the correct choice. Will Jason Wilcox get his way? It's a big power struggle underway. So that's what it is. So that's the news being brought out about, oh, look, Wilcox prefers Carrick. He's the one who's essentially in charge of deciding who it is. And we believe that he'll get the backing of Barada as well. Barada and him are two peas in a pea pod, right? They work together. They cover each other's backs. Barada's brought Wilcox in to cover his own arse. And that's how they're doing it. They're working together to make sure they dictate everything that's going on at the club. I don't know who the other board members are who are preferring Solskjaer. Maybe I could guess at the names, but I don't feel like Solskjaer is going to be the choice because they know, number one, he's a lot more experienced than Carrick, so he might ask for things that Carrick will not ask for, like bloody transfers, like new players, for instance. And the other things, I think the Solskjaer thing is, of course, he has got a history at United in terms of negative history. He didn't do too well after or near the end of his time as United manager. So, yeah. Let me actually remind you of Michael Carrick. We heard him. We actually heard him speak not long ago in October about the game against Brighton. So I'm going to play this because it gives us an insight to who our next manager might be and what he had to say about everything at United. Let me just play this for you because it is interesting. And if this guy's our next manager, what's going on? Let me bring that up. Where were we? Here we go. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's Michael Carrick with Gabby. Let's see. He was on Match of the Day. Let's see what he had to say.
And said the word spirit about 4 times, didn't he, in that answer there? And clearly there is something that you can't measure, isn't there? You know, we talk a lot about all the statistics, the data, the XGs, but emotion and, effort and togetherness and confidence, it's not tangible, but it's visible.
Yeah, I'm kind of got a smile on my face because when you get that moment as a footballer and you get a connection with somebody, it's a wavelength and you almost play off instinct. And I kind of put it as you almost play with a smile inside because you enjoy playing with each other, and it looks like they've found that connection. And 2 of them have just arrived in the summer. Bruno's been there for a period of time. And listen, it's not just them 3, but the feel.
This is the game we won, by the way.
There's something really fun about the way they want to play, and there was a lot on the game today. Playing. To go 3 wins after beating Liverpool and everyone going, yeah, but it's happened before type thing, a big game to go again. And they've lost against Brighton in the past. So it was a big game today, and I thought they played ever so well.
All right, okay. So, well, he's happy about that. It doesn't give us much, does it? Michael Carrick speaking about the Brighton game in October. Big wow. He's obviously saying that he's happy to see them gel. Look, it's going to be an uphill task for him. It's going to be an uphill task. I can't see him coming in and getting things overturned because he's not battling against the players. I think that's where we all get it wrong. I think we all get it wrong because we all start thinking, he's going to come in and what he needs to do is battle the players. He needs to sort the players out. He doesn't need to sort just the players out. He also needs to sort everybody above him. That's the problem he's got. He's got a hierarchy and owners who don't have a clue. And so a single person coming in, like the manager or the interim manager or interim coach, or whatever you want to bloody call it, he's not going to be able to sort everything out. This is not a Fergie type person. Fergie dealt with everything above him and below him. So he dealt with the players, kept them in check, made sure they were doing fine, but also above him with the help of David Gill, he made sure that the hierarchy knew exactly how things are going to work. They were going to work his way or no way. That's the difference. Yes, I know the footballing structure has changed somewhat now, and we've got the sporting directors and all sorts, but you still need someone strong enough to dictate things. You still need someone strong enough to grab hold of Wilcox and say, look, listen to me, you bloody joker. You don't know jack shit. So shut up and sit back and watch me cook. Yes, do your job, do what you're good at, but don't come and tell me how to play with my team. To be fair, Ruben Amorim tried to do that, but he did it in the wrong way. He shouldn't have come out in the press conferences and have a direct go at Wilcox. He should have left that behind closed doors, and he should have kicked his ass behind closed doors. He should have grabbed hold of Wilcox and said, don't you effing speak to me like that again, my friend. I have got the credit in the bank when it comes to coming from another club and showing that I can actually go and win things. What the F have you done? You're not a bloody manager, so shut up and get out of my bloody office. That's what you should have done. Rather than coming out with a sad face on and, cry to the press, because the press aren't your friends, Ruben. The press don't give a shit about you. Let's be real. Nobody gives a shit. The only thing he should have done is made sure he did things behind closed doors. And that is another thing what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do. He used to keep things behind closed doors. Them kind of things would never reach the public arena. Whatever happened behind the scenes stayed behind the scenes. And that's what Ruben should have done. And I think he would still be in the job right now. The way you deal with the Wilcoxes and the Bradas and even Ratcliffes is you shove up a stick up their backside behind closed doors. You tell them, don't you effing dare. You brought me on this project. You dragged me away from a winning project in sporting, and you led me here under false pretenses. You told me everything that you're going to do for me, and you didn't do that. You lying shits. That's what it is. That's what you should have done. That's how I would have dealt with it anyway. But look, Carrick, let me know in the comments below what you think about Carrick, whether you like the decision or not, and what you think about him turning things around at United. Because that, let's be honest, that is the most important thing we need right now. We need someone to come in and rescue the remaining season. The only thing we're bloody playing for is the Premier League, Champions League. That's all we've got, man. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I genuinely thought I'd be sat here and thinking, right, okay, look, we've got the FA Cup. I was saying yesterday, we need an FA Cup run. I mean, we're not playing any football. I mean, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing, man? The teams out there, shitty teams who are involved in the Europe, they're involved in the FA Cup, they've got things going for them, and we have got only one competition that we're playing in, and we can't even sort that out. We can't even box that off. What hope have we got to do anything else? And the owners need to answer for this, because it's under their ownership that we've got this bad. And I'm talking about INEOS here, by the way. I'm talking about INEOS and what they've done for us, right? They've done jack shit. They promised us the world. They promised us that they're going to come in and sort things out. Do you know what? I thought we couldn't get any worse than the Glazers. But I tell you what, INEOS have taken that mantle and they've run with it. They've thought, right, we can do a lot better than the Glazers. Trust me, we can do a lot. And they've taken it the opposite way. I think they've got the wrong message. I think they've got the wrong bloody message. Everyone was saying we need someone who can do better than the Glazers. INEOS have come in and thought, right, okay, we can do better than the Glazers, and gone the opposite direction. They've made it even worse. They're even worse than the bloody Glazers. At least with the Glazers, we got one big signing every summer, right? One crazy signing. I mean, whatever you thought of Woodward, you've got to give it to him. He made days transfer windows exciting, right? He made them exciting. He would go in for a gigantic signing, and you could at least say, yes, come on, we're going to sell some T-shirts. Yeah, we're going to sell some shirts at the end of the transfer window, and we're going to be loving it. At least we can say like we've signed someone crazy. Them days have gone as well now. Them days have gone, and I just feel like right now we're going to end up in a situation that I think Carrick's going to come in. If I'm going to predict how things work, so this is how I think things are going to work, having been through this story many times. We've seen this movie many times, guys, okay? We don't need to pretend that we don't know what's going to happen. You know, there is no spoiler here. We're not going to spoil it for anybody. If I come out and tell you what's going to happen in this movie, I'm not spoiling it for anybody, because everybody who's been watching United, unless you've just started supporting them this year, you will know what happens in this movie. You know how it plays out. So we've got this interim manager in place. End of the season comes. We'll do okay. We'll huff and puff. We'll talk about a big game. We'll talk about being this and that. And we'll talk about a big project and things getting back on track. And we'll try and blame everything negative on Ruben Amorim. Even the fans who are hammering out, they're going to say, oh, no, this isn't a bad performance. We've not qualified for the Champions League, but it doesn't matter, because everything was Ruben Amorim's fault. Everything is on Ruben Amorim. And even INEOS are going to keep on drip feeding us all this bullshit news about, United have lost. It was that manager that we had, called Ruben Amorim. It was because of him. It was because of him that we've not qualified for Champions League. We've not made any signings. It was that Amorim. It was the Amorim geezer. He came in, ruined this club. That's what INEOS are going to tell us. Come the summer transfer window, we're not going to sign anyone major, because we're not going to be in the Champions League football once again. Once again, we're going to be down in the dumps. No player in his right mind will want to join Man United, especially given that we will not have a manager in place. And in fact, I think if we do half decent and we get somewhere near top 10, if we get within the top 10, I believe that whoever is the interim manager, obviously being Carrick, as we're hearing, he'll get the full-time job. He'll get the full-time job. They'll offer it to him. I'm telling you, we've seen this play out before. They're going to offer him the full-time job, drop a cool, probably 3-year contract on him, give him what he wants, and then they'll sack him the year later. But they'll give him that contract first. Of course, they need to give him that contract because they love giving out compensation. INEOS should be renamed INEOS Compensation, or Compensation INEOS, whatever you want to call it, because that's what they love doing. They bought on Dan Ashworth, sacked him 3 months later. They paid. You can't make this shit up, actually. You can't make this shit up. This is crazy, crazy stuff. INEOS approach Newcastle and want Dan Ashworth there and then. They can't wait for him to leave at the end of the season. They say, no, we want Dan Ashworth now. We want him now. And Newcastle say, well, if that's the case, you're going to pay us compensation for him. I think it was 10, 15 mil, whatever it was. They were like, right, you've got to give us compensation for him to, if you want to take him right now. He was on bloody garden leave, by the way. So he was Newcastle already got rid of him. So they didn't need him. But then they still said, if you want to employ him early, you're going to have to give us a compensation package. And INEOS thought, let's give it to him. So they paid compensation, bought him on early, and 3 months later, they got rid of him. This is the great INEOS, the ones who were going to come in and sort everything out, right? And they were going to bring in the best in class. So they bought in the best in class and got rid of him 3 months later. This is INEOS. Then they bought in Ruben Amorim, best in class, right? This is the manager. This is the future. He's the best young manager in Europe. He's going to do wonders for United. He's going to get 3-4 years to prove himself. We're not going to get rid of him because he needs time. Every manager needs time. Go back and listen to what Jim Ratcliffe said just in October. The bullshit that he spewed about, no. The media and everybody else wants us to get rid of the manager, but no, you don't do that. Yes, his results might not be good, but he's got 3 years. And after 3 years, we're going to come back to the table and decide whether he deserves the full-time role or not. 3 years he's got to screw things up. That's what we heard. Well, them 3 years, unless... In my books, 3 years are 3 years. I don't know what they are in flipping INEOS's book and Jim Ratcliffe's book, but it's clear. It's clear to everybody who wants to see it. It's clear to everybody who wants to accept it. Glazers and INEOS have ran this club well and truly into the ground. Well and truly. The only next thing... We finished 15th last season, guys. 15th! Our standards are so low that we cannot even see that as a big problem now. 15th, Man United finished 15th in the Premier League table. That is despicable. Despicable. Yet we all ignored it and carried on. carried on because we were looking at the new hope, Ruben Amorim, the last hope, shall we say. And now we're used to it. We're used to it. We finished 15th again. Makes no difference. We've done that. We're breaking records. Doesn't matter. We've done them, right? They've ran us into the ground. INEOS and Glazers put together have completed the job. They've put the icing on the cake. They've put the cherry on the cake. They've shafted us. And there's only one solution. They need to go. They need to go. We need them out, and we need them out quick time before we bloody get relegated. And I'm telling you, at this rate, it could genuinely happen. We could end up with no players. We could end up with losing our best players. Come the summer, we're going to be in for a nasty, nasty surprise. If Carrick does not turn things around, which I think he's going to be hard pushed to do, if he doesn't turn things around and we end the season without any Champions League football, mid-table, doing fuck all, we're going to lose our best players. The Sharks are already circling us. I've heard it from many, many different people, many different sources, that the Sharks are circling Man United. Man United is the Titanic going down. It's sinking. And the clubs around are watching, looking at United's best players, thinking, right, this is the best opportunity to go in there and make offers, silly offers, shitty offers. Barcelona, for instance, paying 30 mil for Rashford, one of the best young wingers, attackers in Europe. He still is. He's still very good. We have to admit that. When he's on top of his form, top of his game, he's still very good. 30 mil is an absolute bargain. Kobe Mainoo, there's going to be clubs coming in for him. Bruno Fernandes, we already know Al Hilal want to pay 100 mil. I don't think they'll pay 100 mil anymore. I think they'll come down to about 60, 70 and they'll take him off our hands. And I think United will end up selling him because United are strapped for cash. They need money. INEOS need money. Glazers want money. And they're not going to put any of their own money into this. So they need money out of this club and they'll sell Bruno Fernandes, whether you like it or you don't. Again, Ahmad, someone who's sensational right now for us. He'll get sold. Okay, let's go to the chat, guys, because I've taken up a lot of time having a rant there, and I apologise. But drop your likes, everyone in here. I can see it doesn't take... Why is it so difficult to hit the like, guys? It's just that thumbs up. You just hit it. And if you're not a subscriber, I don't know what you're wasting your time for. You need to hit that subscribe button and become part of this Man United community. Even if you're not a Man United fan, by the way, hit that subscribe. Trust me, you'll benefit from it because this channel is popping off right now. We're getting a lot of support and I'm loving it. And the guys, everyone who's supporting the channel, I appreciate everybody. And look, it's an amazing journey right now. But, well, not an amazing journey, actually. It's not going too well, actually. For United, it's not. And it's not good times. But like I said in yesterday's show, the only way is up, right? We've already hit rock bottom. I mean, I can't see it getting any worse. Seriously. Anyway, morning, Jim. Morning, Nish. Hope you're doing well. Rick, hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you all recovered from yesterday's embarrassment. I won't even call it disappointment anymore. Disappointment is on a different level, right? Disappointment is something else. Right now, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be a United fan watching them put in performances like that. You can't even justify it. You can't even justify it. Your sources were right. I've been told Fletcher, we're completely done. Zero money, and head coach has won absolutely nothing. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I'm not bothered. I would have liked to be wrong. I would have actually genuinely liked to have been wrong, and I would have liked to INEOS have to surprise everybody. And if they were truly masters at what they're doing, they would have gone out there and picked up a decent manager and convinced him to join us right now and said, right, we're going to give you a position till the end of the season. You go and prove yourself. You can get the full job, right? Go and get us in the Champions League. That's what they would and should have done if they were actually good at what they were doing. If they were top owners, they would have gone out there and made someone join them at short term. And look, there are managers available right now as well. They could have brought in Maresca. They could have brought anybody and said, right, get us into the flipping Champions League. That's your job. And I think we would have done a lot better than bringing in someone like Carrick, unfortunately. That's my opinion anyway. I just don't want to be in the Conference League. Bruno looked like he wants out now. Yeah, man, all the players are flushed twice. The team is crappy enough. Yep, exactly. And whichever one that was going to be interim, they were always going to be inexperienced. Yeah, I mean, yeah, inexperienced to some degree. I think with Solskjaer, you could have argued that he's slightly more experienced than Carrick, and he's been there, done that. Obviously, he's been the head coach, Carrick being his assistant. But I know what you mean. But it's not good. It doesn't look good, does it? On United, it doesn't look good for us. Where do we go from here? I mean, it's no different to having Fletcher manage him, right? Carrick coming in is no different to Fletcher. So what we've seen the team play under Fletcher, we're going to get the same with Carrick. I find it very difficult to believe that we're going to get another team turn up in the next game for Carrick. We're not going to get a bounce back for Carrick. What experienced manager wants part of this circus? Yeah, that is the problem. That is the problem. I think, look, if we approach someone like Maresca, and I'm saying Maresca not because I like him, I'm just saying it because he's the one we know he's available right now. He's just got the sack, and he might want a project to just jump into immediately. And would he come into United? I don't think so. I really don't. I think he'd probably look at it and think, I don't want to be part of this shit show. No, I don't want to be part of this circus with these flipping clowns telling me how to play football and how to set my team up. Which respectable manager would accept Wilcox telling him what formation and what system to be playing? Just does not make sense. I can't believe he even did that. Good. I hope Bruno does. I don't care who the coach is. Anyone, whilst Glazers are in control, I'll still come and watch Travis and see Jim. But I've given up. 10 years plus, we're the worst than ever. Yeah, we are, man. I think I've got to that stage as well. I mean, I'm doing the watch-alongs, and I'm seriously contemplating why I'm wasting my time. I'm thinking, this is awful. I'll tell you a story. I met one of my friends, and we together we used to watch United many times. We've watched them. We've gone Old Trafford together. We've watched the Ronaldo era. We've watched brilliant football, and I think for the last 5 years or 6 years, he stopped watching football. I used to go around to his place and be like, all right, let's put football on. And he'd be like, no, I don't want to watch it. And I'd be like, what you mean? Is Man United playing? What are you on about? And he's like, no, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. So he wouldn't watch it with me. He just refused to watch United play football. And then even discussing what happens. So I was like, oh, look, we've done this, we've done that, we've signed this player, we've done that. And he's like, no, I didn't watch it. I've not been watching it. And he's refused. He's essentially boycotted watching United up until this season. Up until Ruben Amorim came in, and this season he started watching United again. Right at the start, he's like, and I was shocked. I turned up to his place and I was like, "Oh yeah, I was watching football." And then he started discussing it with me, and I was like, "Did you actually watch the game?" And he's like, "Yeah, I watched the game." I was like, "What? You've started watching Man United again?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm actually enjoying watching Man United again." And this is right at the start of the season, and I'm thinking, "Wow." Now, that is a change. And he's like, yeah, look, I feel like we've got a chance. And, I think we were close to the Champions League spots then. And I'm thinking right now, I've not spoke to him yet, but I'm thinking, shit, I bet he's going to stop again. I bet he's had, 6 months of football, and then he's stopped, and he's thought, right, I'm not watching this shit again. No, I'm turning it off. And sometimes I think, you know what? To save your mental health, yeah, sometimes you've got to do that. I mean, this is that dire right now. I've said it before, but we need new owners that love our team, not our money. Yeah, we certainly do, man. It's over, Rick. They will never sell. You see, that's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is they're never going to sell. They've got a cash cow. I've always said it. If you go back to my streams 3-4 years ago, I've said it there. Look, INEOS have got the golden goose that lays the golden egg. The goose that lays the golden egg, sorry, right? And why would they let go of it? Even till this day, United keep on making money. The only time they're going to walk out on United is when they realise they can't make any more money from United. But the problem with Man United is, and it's not a problem as per se, but we've got a huge fan base around the world. Billions of fans who still pour serious money into Man United right now. But I was hearing someone the other day who was on the TV, and he was saying something like, oh, look, well, right now, United still rely on the global fan base, but there's a shift in the young fans now. The young fans are not, being attracted to Man United. They're going and supporting Arsenals and the Cities, the teams that are actually doing well right now. And that's who they're going and supporting now. So sooner or later, there'll be a shift. And, United making all this revenue, all the fans are just gonna disappear. And the young fan base is going to all be supporting other teams and be putting money into their back pockets. And what the flip are the Glazers going to do then? That's what it is. I concur. We are doomed. Has been since Sir Alex Ferguson left. And I said it. I said Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill knew exactly what was to come. They foresaw it. They sat down. They realised that they need to get themselves out before the shit hits the fan, before the Glazers completely destroy the legacy of this club, before the Glazers completely run this club into the ground, because they had no clue. Not only did they have no clue, their objective was never to make United or keep United at top of the world football. Their objective was very simple. Come in and strip United of all its assets. Come in and take full advantage of everything that Man United have been making. And for a good 10 years, they've been taking dividends upon dividends upon dividends out of United. They've put zero of their own money into United. Zero. I mean, you can't make this up. We've fallen so far behind. I watched the highlights of the Supernova. Barca and Madrid would destroy us 5-0. City would destroy us 5-0. Arsenal the same. It's over. We are shite. Look. Absolutely, man. We are at that stage right now where I look at everything that we've done, and yeah, we've fallen massively behind with everything. We are probably one of the worst clubs right now. When I look at it and think, the football that we're playing is awful. It's awful, and there's no disguising it. We've fallen so far behind, man. So far behind. I just don't know what else to say, man. It's disappointing. It's disappointing. Chadwick says we are crap, no leadership. Yeah, there's no leadership. There is no leadership in this team. We've got nobody who can take this United side and say, let's sort things out. And unfortunately, an interim manager of the likes of Carrick or Solskjaer, that's why I was never excited. That's why I never got excited about all of this, because I knew that actually it's not going to change. It's not going to change. We're not going to have a situation where we can look at it and say, oh, do you know what? It's gonna become like, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's not going to get better. We're in a hole that's just going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. And we've not been able to get out of it. The only way we get out of this hole, the only light at the end of the tunnel that you can see, or I'm going to tell you this right now, is if we get new ownership. If we get someone coming in who's going to actually put money down on United and say, right, okay, yes, I'll clear the debt, I'll build a new stadium, I'll bring in new players, and we go again. But we need that hard reset. INEOS have shown that they're not going to hard reset United. They have had the opportunity to buy out the Glazers. I keep saying it. I mean, why? Why do I have to remind everybody? INEOS had the opportunity to buy out the Glazers earlier this year. They had an exclusivity clause within their purchase agreement, within their contract, their minority shares, and they had a clause within there to say that at this point, before that point, INEOS could make an offer to the Glazers and buy the remaining shares and buy the Glazers out. But guess what INEOS have done? They've not done that. They've kept the Glazers there. The Glazers are not committed to Man United. They're only committed to their pocket. They're committed to money. And INEOS are no different. So it's just a massive game that these billionaires are playing. But unfortunately, they're playing it with Man United. And we have got caught in the middle of this bullshit billionaire game. And the only way we get over this is if someone else comes in and buys them out, who genuinely likes Man United, who genuinely wants to do good. But again, the problem is that no one's going to come out and pay over the odds for United. No one's going to come out and say, right, okay, yeah, I'll pay way over what United's actually worth and line the pockets of the Glazers. May I remind everybody, before I finish this show, I want to take you all the way back to when the Glazers made the announcement that they were looking for strategic investment opportunities, whatever that bullshit is, right? But it was essentially, we're looking for someone to either buy United or save our asses and put in the investment. We all know what happened. INEOS came in and saved their asses and put in the investment, right? But we heard that there was another buyer on the scene, Sheikh Yassim, the Qataris or whatever they are, right? And he'd proposed to buy United at a lower market value, the market value that was actually what it was on the stock market. So he wasn't going to pay above the odds, but he was not going to pay less either. He was going to pay the Glazers what the market value of Man United was. I think it was in the region of about, 4 billion or 5 billion, around that mark. I can't remember now, but it was about that mark. He was willing to pay. And then he said in a separate statement that he's got £2 billion to invest in Man United separately, in sorting out Man United, paying off the debt, sorting out the stadium and bringing in new players. He said he's earmarked £2 billion. That's separate. So he's got a funding available, or he's got the capital available of around £7 billion to put into Man United. And guess what the Glazers did? They got greedy. And they realised, they thought, what? He's got 5 billion plus 2 billion set aside to spend on Man United. How dare he do that? How dare he put 2 million aside? We want 7 billion in our pockets. We want that 2 billion that you've put aside to sort the shit out at United that we've made. We want that as well. We don't want any money left behind to sort Man United out. We want £7 billion. Give us that money and we will walk away. That's what happened with the Glazers. That's what happened with Sheikh Yassim. And Sheikh Yassim stuck to his guns and said, look, no, I'm not going to come into a club if I can't sort it out. I'm not going to come into United. I'm not going to buy Man United unless I cannot sort it out. I'm not going to give you the additional money that I've set aside to come and actually clear the debt of United and make United the football club that it deserves to be. These are the Glazers that we're dealing with. This is the story behind that takeover. Hence why Yassin walked away. He walked away because he was like, no, I'm not willing to pay you above the odds. I wish he would have. I really do. I wish he would have paid over the odds and just got the club off their hands. But unfortunately, that's not how business people work. I mean, he's probably thought, right, I'm already stretching my budget. You know, I've got 2 billion set aside to spend on sorting United out. But that's it. That's what's happened, guys. That is what we've ended up with. The story is obviously now, INEOS have done nothing good. Nothing good. You know, they've brought in so-called best in class, but they've done jack shit for the club. They've done nothing. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Let me end with Anish. The comment Nish has just dropped because he's always spitting facts. So the Glazers took a beautiful diamond and turned it into sand. They've taken and taken and taken. That's all they do. Parasites. I'm going to end it there, guys. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe. You're watching the Man United Stream channel, a channel by the fans, the disappointed fans. But we still go again. We still hold on to that hope that United will